I just need the perfect amount. The perfect amount is an elusive, though very real, quantity of marijuana that equates roughly to about 25 milligrams, or 0.025 grams. It's the amount that fits in a one-hitter, and I know this only because that's precisely how much I need. I am sitting in an apartment that is not my own. I am not a trespasser, or stowaway, or squatter. I am the eldest son of two well-to-do therapists who've invested in a high-rise luxury apartment where I am currently sprawled on a couch that's really more of a chase. The apartment is never referred to as my apartment, as it is in fact not my apartment, but instead bears the more ambiguous moniker, the unit. I am in here. It's a Sunday and I wish it wasn't. Floor-to-ceiling windows emit glorious rays of Chicago sunshine, but every fiber of my inert body craves for overcast nothingness. A beautiful day is nothing but the pressure to do something with it. I just need the perfect amount. That would do it. I'm in something of a tight spot because I've already pinched the last little 0.025 gram hit, and then the actual last one, and then the actual last one, and then used a steak knife to scrape aside the sticky green debris from the sides of my sister's grinder in a quasi-surgical process not unlike the way archaeological excavators remove dusty deposits from ancient bones. There is nothing to be found, Doctor. I reach for my sister's
Elf Bar Aero Max disposable vape
and pull 5 individual puffs through my lips, each separated by an interval of precisely 2 seconds, so as to allow the maximum quantity of nicotine to enter my bloodstream between puffs. This initiates a bombarding head rush and makes it difficult to move one's skull or body or mental state. It elongates whatever buzz I can salvage after 4 prior engagements with the thing. Today. On hit 5 of 5, I toss the device across the room in a symbolic rejection of instant gratification. I watch it bounce off the lime divan, landing inelegantly on the never-vacuumed floor beneath. Good. This was the last time. The real predicament here is that I need exactly 0.025 grams, a quantity no reputable supplier would ever concede to provide, so I'm left with 2 fundamentally undesirable choices. 1. Purchase the smallest amount possible, something like 3 grams, which is still very much too much because this is very much the last time I'll ever need it. I'd have so much in stock at that point that I wouldn't be able to keep myself from falling into one of these states again, whatever you'd call it. Or 2. Call it. Hang it up. Reascend the tall and looming wagon. The tick, tick, tick of the decision fries my neurons in exactly the way my middle school teachers told me the drugs would. This is your brain on unstructured time. The expression between a rock and a hard place does not seem to apply to this particular situation, but I am paralyzed all the same. Psychologically, in that the decision forces me to choose between 2 distinct personal identities at direct odds with each other, when all I'm really looking for here is a bit of fucking Novocaine numbing. And physically, in that I've just reached for my sister's
EB Design TE6000 disposable vape
and am once again unable to move. There's a TikTok playing on repeat somewhere in the room. I don't know where my phone is, so I can't shut it up. It's played maybe 70 or 80 times. It's a clip of some celebrity Navy SEAL instructor saying things like,
"Choose your heart and callous your mind."
He implores me to accept personal responsibility for the transportation of boats. And it's only after the 76th or 83rd listen-through of this 30-second clip that I peel myself off the chase to locate the source of the cognitive dissonance. I leave behind a sluggish indentation in the furniture, almost like I myself am the fossil, rising from the depths of sedimentary slumber. I am standing up in an empty living room without fully knowing where to turn, and so I just remain standing there for a full minute and a half, which comes out to about 3 full listens of the celebrity Navy SEAL. At the 47-second mark of the 79th or 86th listen-through, I'm gazing out at a mass of blue just past the shoreline. Mommy and Daddy did not skimp on the view. I ponder for a single moment what it would be like to just blink and find myself way out there in the deep, deep water, far too far to swim back or to be rescued. To sink. To be swallowed up in the sweet forgetfulness of America's second-largest Great Lake, by volume, 3rd by surface area.
"You don't know me, son."
Rage. I snap into action with the intensity of a more disciplined man. I am moving. Scrambling is a better word. I upheave couch cushions and usurp takeout containers. I could, of course, just listen a little closer to ascertain where the insufferable self-help rhetoric is coming from, but the whole fucking point is to not hear it anymore, so I'm just usurping and upheaving and scrambling for my phone until I, of course, find it nestled in the crevice just beneath the groin area of my sluggish indentation. The call was coming from inside the crotch. I scroll away from the noise. The relief is met with triumph, which is met with further distraction as I now find myself sucked into the subsequent video clip. I'm watching a large chunk of clearly gourmet hand soap shredded into tiny pieces across something that looks like a cheese or soap grater, but clearly isn't. I'm watching it because I can't not watch it. It scratches my brain for 11 seconds and then I scroll. Now I'm watching a young comedian destroy drunk female heckler, and now I'm watching the only 6 exercises you need to build a physique like Baki the Grappler. And now I'm watching Fordham Professor explains 21st century gender dynamics and the responsibility of men to dismantle the patriarchy. And now I'm watching how this 19-year-old made $26,000 from his dorm room, and now I'm watching top 10 snowboarding fails from last year's Winter X Games, and now I'm watching a clip from an Office episode I've seen so many times I can practically recite the lines back to my phone screen, but I watch it all the way through anyway, and now I'm watching the truth behind the unsolved JonBenet Ramsey case, and now I'm watching another soap shredding video, this time with a 1,000-degree knife instead of a grater, and now I'm watching a young man in an apartment very similar to my own tell me my attention has been stolen from me by big tech companies who've intentionally designed social media platforms to convert my conscious experience into advertising dollars, and that I can work to reclaim my focus by simply watching a podcast clip with two 30-something comedians denouncing cancel culture, overlaid with Subway Surfers gameplay, and now I'm watching the same fucking clip of the celebrity Navy SEAL, not another video of the same guy, but the exact same clip, and bizarrely enough, I watch it all the way through to confirm my worst suspicions, and sure enough, by the end of the 30 seconds, it is in fact the same clip, and I scroll with a mix of frustration and amazement, and now I'm watching top 10 cafes to visit in Lisbon, and now I'm watching the actual workout Christian Bale used to get American Psycho shredded, and now I'm watching the only ChatGPT prompts you need to start a 10K a month SMMA from your laptop, and now I'm watching an Instagram model I recognize from Instagram doing some type of trending dance in order to sell a product I personally would never buy, but what I do instead is exit the app and open another one altogether, and I pause and think for a second, is this really what I should be doing? And I almost get myself to exit this other app, but then for whatever reason I go ahead anyway, and now I'm watching a and then I throw and then in a fit of frustration and disgust I shut off my phone and shove it back in the dismal crevice from whence it came. I am standing again. I am standing in this empty room, inches from floor-to-ceiling glass, of which I can feel the late afternoon heat emanating off of as I gaze emptily over a city of people in motion. I'm conscious of my own inertia and ashamed of it. I feel naked in front of the window. I am naked in front of the window. None of this has erased from my mind for even a single moment my binary predicament. How to, or whether to, secure that elusive and perfect amount of powder green numbing agent to carry me through the rest of this unprogrammed Saturday and bury me once more in the cannabinoid cobwebs of delirium bliss. I reach for my sister's
Funky Republic FI 3000 disposable vape
and placate my mouth and lungs with apple watermelon distraction. This was the last time. There is something in my mouth, and it is an Olympic-sized bolus of Saforit's baked cheese crackers from multinational family-owned discount supermarket chain Aldi. I am struggling to swallow due to the fact that in all this hullabaloo, I've had not 1, not 2, but 0 ounces of water. The uncomfortably dry ball of enriched flour and niacin and canola and other things sits at the very back of my mouth and somehow refuses to go with the program. The fatsy-batsy bolus does not want to tumble down the drain. I think about this as I stare blankly out at the Chicago sky. The cruel optimism of high afternoon has devolved into the taunting, oh brother, another day inside, of early evening. The sun is setting. My phone stares up at me from the kitchen counter. It beckons in a bizarre techno-Faustian glimmer of blue light. The world at your fingertips, they advertised. I have yet to swallow the boulder of mechanically digested, colorless carbohydrate mush, and here I am shoveling 3, 4, 6 additional squares of artificial orange into my face. They need to include a choking hazard on these boxes, is what I am thinking as my thumbs smear greasy debris across the glowing glass in 3 individual failed attempts to unlock the fucking phone. I am going to call my sister. If my sister picks up the phone, I can ask her to bring me the perfect amount. If she is in town and has the perfect amount on her personage, she can bring it to me, provided the price is right. So, if she is properly supplied and geographically located and monetarily compensated, I can get my hands on the perfect amount and this whole thing will be over and done with. I just need the perfect amount. My phone is ringing. I know that the standard iPhone rings for 20 seconds. This usually comes out to about 5 individual rings separated by 1 to 2 second intervals. But who's counting, right? Me. I am counting. Second ring. The greasy debris on my phone screen blurs my sister's name with the adipose outline of my fingertip smear. I swallow hard and the bolus finally goes down. I'm reminded of that YouTube video where the boa constrictor swallows a pig whole. No shit. Third ring. I am sweating and my heart is beating quite fast, if I do say so myself. This is because I am, of course, quite invested in the potential outcome of this potential phone call, but also because I'm 3 rails deep off the months-old
Hype Max Flow disposable vape
that lives on the kitchen counter and tastes like an electronic adaptation of car exhaust. Each isolated iPhone ring is about 2.5 seconds. Fourth ring. A minuscule, long, repressed voice deep within my psyche that is only just barely accessible to me, hopes and prays and begs and pleads for my sister not to pick up the phone. If she doesn't pick up the phone, I'll give up on this charade. I'll put the Savor It's Baked cheese crackers back in the pantry. I'll throw every source of vaporized nicotine in the overflowing trash receptacle. I'll take the trash out while I'm at it. I'll have a shower for the first time this week. I'll walk to the grocery store 4 blocks down and stock up on fruits and vegetables and fish and red lentil protein pasta. And I'll walk back to this glass cage carrying 30-plus pounds of unprocessed nutrition and revel in the muscular agony.
They don't know me, son.
And I'll get a good night's sleep, and I'll never ever let this happen ever again because I'm young and have no good reason to be wasting my youth in meaningless slumps like this. But of course, on the 5th and final ring, the phone picks up, and my sister answers the phone. She says, "Hey, Queen," and I say, "Hey, Queen." I ask her if she can stop by the unit to bring me 0.025 grams of sativa, and it doesn't actually matter if it's sativa, but it's extremely colossally important that it's just that amount, and no more and no less, because I don't want to have any more after this one final hit, because this has to be the last time, and yes, I know it's ridiculous I'm asking for such a small amount, but that's why I'm asking you, and no, I didn't mean it like that, but could you please, for the love of holy jeez, it's Christ, just bring me that specific amount, and I'll pay you whatever you want to make it worth your while, because I do in fact respect your time, even though I don't respect my own. I don't say this, but I think it. And she eventually says yes to the terms and conditions and is on her way. She'll be here in 47 minutes. Fuck. There was this experiment in the 1970s where they put a rat in a cage with 2 water bottles, one with regular water and one with cocaine water, which is water infused with cocaine. The rat, understandably, drank the cocaine water obsessively until he overdosed and died. This happened many times to many rats, because the researchers needed to replicate results and the poor fuckers are a dime a dozen. Eventually they decided to try something different and put the rat, a different rat, obviously, in a place they called Rat Park. Suddenly the rat was surrounded by other rats and had fun things to do, like run around and sleep with their newfound associates and drink cocaine water should they be so inclined. But the thing is, they were not so inclined. They were having too much fun being a regular, sober, socially connected rat in Rat Park. Researchers concluded the rats in the cage didn't have a cocaine problem so much as they had a cage problem. The rats in Rat Park, while enjoying the occasional indulgent sip of cocaine water, were much more interested in spending quality time with their fellow rodents. They were happy and social and not under the influence of stimulants. This experiment has not been successfully replicated. 22 minutes. The sun is fully gone and dead now. Chicago looks beautiful at night. Me, not so much. I am staring at my reflection in the glass again. The floor-to-ceiling windows. My phone is still greasy and I don't know where it is. There's a TikTok playing on repeat somewhere. I see in the somewhat blurry reflection what can only be described as a dopamine zombie. There's a dull and docile look in its eyes, glazed over almost, like a cow trudging blindly into the slaughterhouse. Or maybe the bolt's already in its skull. I wonder to myself how long I'll allow this to continue. It's not a self-shaming thought per se, more of a scientific thought experiment. Although I suppose this is the last time, of course. Zombie pupils gaze back at me through the glass. The TikTok has looped back upwards of 90 times at this point. It's a 10-second long, 432 hertz binaural sleep beat that hums away lethargically in the background. It almost puts me at peace. Here I am in this little glass box in the sky, resigned to my life as a bottomless pit, an insatiable appetite. This is me. There is nothing to be found, doctor. Then something happens. Something that should not happen. Something that, by all accounts, is wholly impossible. Something other folks, not me, never me, might call an act of God. My phone scrolls of its own accord. That must be what happens, because in an instant, the 432 hertz binaural sleep track is audibly replaced with, and I seriously shit you not, the fucking Navy SEAL video, the exact clip down to the soundbite, and suddenly my little glass cage is filled with that incessant, impossibly hoarse scream of a hyper-masculine man who wants life to be hard. He wants it so, so hard. And in that moment, rock beats scissors, paper beats rock, and when it comes down to it, folks, norepinephrine beats dopamine. I am alive. I am moving. I am out of here. I do not attempt to locate my phone. Let it ring. I move with military precision into my ruined bedroom and throw on an outfit, any outfit. I dress my feet methodically, sock, shoe, sock, shoe. I propel myself into the kitchen/living room complex and, like a perfectly aimed weapon of the military-industrial complex, systematically gather up the Hype Max Flow disposable vape, the Funky Republic FI 3000 disposable vape, the EB Design TE 6000 disposable vape, and the Elf Bar Aeromax disposable vape, along with the 34 additional disposable nicotine devices lying around the room, and I step confidently out onto the partially enclosed balcony to throw them away forever. But just before I do, I take 5 final for old time's sake puffs from the closest device, and as the blood vessels in my brain and body constrict in that deliciously final indulgence, I release the various sticks and squares, the battery-powered adult pacifiers, into the Chicago sky and watch them plummet 21 stories down towards Michigan Avenue. I turn away just before they hit the ground. The swift spin enhances the head rush. Back inside, I slam the sliding door behind me. The abysmal TikTok is playing for what is likely the 3rd or 4th time. I am all dressed up with nowhere to go. Wallet and keys stand at attention on the lime divan. Into my pocket they go. No phone. It doesn't matter one bit anymore. I am going home. A Green Line train will take me back to the suburbs, and I can just figure everything out from there. I leave the kitchen uncleaned, my bed unmade, orange cheese dust in a Gretel-esque trail behind me. I turn the lights off because only you can prevent energy waste, and I leave my missing phone behind me, self-improvement propaganda blaring out into the lonely ether of the abandoned unit. I am speeding down Michigan Avenue towards the Roosevelt stop, hoofing it. I am thinking, but not about much. I am not thinking about the trash which I forgot to take out and is beginning to rot. I am not thinking about my sister, who is now just 3 blocks away with exactly 0.025 grams of medical-grade sativa with her. What I am thinking about is this. Things are going to be different now. I'm finally going to do it. I'm going to launch my mental wellness brand, Balance. I'll make internet content to help people live balanced, healthy, disciplined lives. I'll make t-shirts and coffee mugs and laptop stickers and phone cases with little sayings to unleash the power of positive thinking. It's really all about mindset. How bad do you actually want it? Are you willing to put everything on the line? Work those late nights and early mornings and show up day in and day out until your fingers and eyes are bleeding? That's what your competition is doing. That's what I'm going to do, because I'm going to make it. I was destined for this. Mommy always told me I would do great things, and that's what I'm going to do. No more vaping, no more junk food, no more mindless scrolling, and most definitely, no more weed. Not even the perfect amount. There is no perfect amount.